Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Flame Entertainment and Sports. It's your boy Rob here. Hope everyone's doing good out there. If you guys can, please make sure to keep up with us on Instagram and TikTok at the Flame_E. We'd also appreciate you can subscribe to us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. So on today's show, we have Jerry joining us today. We're gonna be doing a little Super Bowl preview. As we have the Super Bowl coming our way Sunday at 6:30 p.m. on NBC. We have the Patriots taking on the Seahawks. But yeah, Jerry, welcome back to the show, man.
Hey, thank you for having me back, bro.
Nah, of course, man. So yeah, man, it's I talked a little bit already about the Super Bowl last week. I gave my prediction earlier than I usually do. But man, this a matchup, we were talking a little bit before that it's really teams that are so like well coached. They have a bunch of role players who, do exactly what they're asked to do, and it's just so cool too because it's two like teams that in recent memory have been like struggling. Mike Macdonald's in his second year as the head coach of Seattle. Mike Vrabel, first year as a Patriots coach, and they're in the Super Bowl, with a chance to be the champions of the football world, man. So yeah, like overall, man, what are some early thoughts you have, on this matchup coming up?
Yeah, no, it's great to see like these two teams that haven't been good in a couple years. It just kind of get that Super Bowl kind of bring back those like Super Bowl like teams back to there's back. Like it's been like 10 years since we had this Super Bowl. No, I think no, it's 11 years
11,
since
yeah,
we've
but
had
yeah,
this Super Bowl. So it was Super Bowl 49 where we had the pick on the goal line by Malcolm Butler.
crazy.
So we now have two completely different versions of the same team. Yeah, no, it's gonna be exciting to see what happens.
No, for sure, man. And this might be random, but I saw people pointing it out on Twitter. Like, there's like a little connection with Malcolm Butler and the Patriots of now. As you know, Malcolm Butler, after New England, he went to Tennessee and played for Mike Vrabel for a couple of years, and now Vrabel's the coach of New England. I think it's kind of funny, but so yeah, I want to start off with a couple guys that there's one specific guy throughout this whole playoff run for New England that I really been highlighting. I feel he's been like a really big like difference maker. He's not a superstar. He's not a guy that every play he's gonna make something happen. But K'Lavon Chaisson, right, the pass rusher for New England, former first round pick of Jacksonville. He spent time with the Raiders last year. He didn't really do much, and New England, they gave him a shot this year on a 1-year deal. And I feel he's been such a big X factor for them, especially in the playoffs. Like they really improved the pass rush overall. That was like the one thing they're kind of lacking in a consistent basis in the regular season. But I feel like Chaisson, if he's able to have like a huge Super Bowl, like best game of his career type of thing, like it'll make such a difference for New England. So that's someone I'm watching. And then on offense, Mack Hollins, wide receiver, former Dolphin. I still love him here. He literally hardly spent time here in Miami. I feel like a lot of Dolphin fans still love him. But yeah, Mack Hollins missed the first couple playoff games. He was injured. He's back now. He played against Denver a couple weeks ago. And I feel that Mack Hollins, I'm calling you now, I think he's going to have a touchdown. That's one of my random predictions for this game. I think Mack Hollins, this guy, he's the ultimate team player. He'll do whatever it takes to help the team win. And he has a chance out for the first time in his career to become a Super Bowl champion. But yeah, man, I don't know if you have any guys that stand out, like any X factors, or if you want to comment on Hollins or Chaisson, man.
Yeah, Chaisson is like one of those guys that I was surprised had like such a big season because he's been in the league. I think it was like 6 years.
Yeah, around that, yeah.
Yeah, during the draft process, I was like really high on him. I thought he had a lot of tools that he can work with. He was a raw talent. I knew it back then, and I thought like it was gonna take a while for him to take that next step. But I didn't think he would get to that level after like a couple of bad seasons in Jacksonville, and then he bounced to the Raiders, and now he's with New England. So I think it's great. I think it's great that he's been able to kind of like revive his career under Mike Vrabel.
Let's go.
And yeah, Mike Vrabel's done a really good job with like this whole team in general, especially with that defense.
Man, something I love about this defense is like the majority of the guys, like people have never heard of, So it's so damn cool. Like some of them have been cut from other teams. Like literally their linebacking core. Like I bet you majority of NFL fans will be like, who the hell are these guys? And then you watch them play and you're like, wow. I just think like all these guys like fit perfectly into what Coach Vrabel wants them to do. And then on offense, man, like I've talked about it a couple of times on here too. Like the fact that he brought in Josh McDaniels, man, that was literally the offensive coordinator for Brady. All those 6 Super Bowl, and McDaniels is just literally meant to be the OC of the Pats, man. He's one of like he's a Hall of Fame offensive coordinator. This guy is like unbelievable, and he's back home in New England, doing what he's meant to do. And you see the difference he's made to that offense. Like obviously Drake Maye, he's taking a step up. You know, the offensive line got better, the running game, but I think it all starts with Vrabel bringing in McDaniels, man. I think, man, what a difference McDaniels has made. And you also see how happy he is on the sideline. You just see the joy he has being back in New England. And I think it's so damn impressive too. Like it shows how smart of a coach that, I don't know, Vrabel is too, you know? Like like being able to bring McDaniels back. I don't think McDaniels, let's say if New England had another random coach, McDaniels may have never gone back there, you know? But I'm sure he believed in Vrabel, and obviously he knew him, being that he coached Vrabel for a couple of years there. So yeah, man, I wanted to bring up that point of McDaniels, man. You know, like, isn't it so cool that he's back and they're back in the Super Bowl?
Yeah, honestly, I feel like that's just the. I feel like New England is just the right place for him. Because like even when he coached other teams, I know he was I think he was on Denver a couple years ago,
Yeah, Denver and the Raiders.
and
He
then
was
the
at home.
Raiders a couple years ago. Even when he was on the Raiders, it looked like he was always like homesick to like go back to New England. Like I think he had that one comment where someone said something about New England, and he says, "Don't talk about my Patriots like that."
Yes,
And
yes.
I think it just slipped out of it just came out of his mouth. I don't even think he meant to say it, but I feel like that's just like that's just really what he felt. And I think this is just probably like the right place for him to be.
For
And
sure.
he's and to be fair, he's done a really good job with this offense. Like the run game is like pretty decent, you know. It's done well. I feel like that's probably like an underrated aspect of New England. And then obviously Drake May has taken a huge step in his development. Overall, I think Josh McDaniels has done a really good job with New England.
And something else I wanna emphasize too is like, so Seattle, it's just unbelievable. Like this offseason, obviously they bring in Sam Darnold, you know, they brought in a couple guys here and there, but what they really prioritize is improving their offensive line and defensive line. Like I was telling Jerry before we recorded, literally the last couple of years the main issue has been the O line. Like they've had no O line in Seattle. And somehow in the matter of one offseason, they went from a bottom tier offensive line to a top tier offensive line, and now they're in the freaking Super Bowl. And it just shows that like that's never gonna go away. You know, the championship teams built through the trenches. Like you go back to our last Super Bowl, right? The Eagles. I mean, their freaking defensive line had arguably the greatest game that a defensive line's ever had in a Super Bowl. You know, like it was unbelievable. And then their offensive line is always freaking elite. Like these people had Jason Kelsey for what was it, like 13 years? The next year Cam Jurgens comes in at center, and you think it's still Kelsey there playing somehow. You know, it's just unbelievable. But that's exactly what Seattle's done, and New England too, by the way. But yeah, Seattle, I wanted to give them their credit because man, they've really improved their lines. And I said it throughout the season a couple of times that their pass rush reminded me of Philly from last year. So it's funny now that they're in the Super Bowl, and I don't even think really in the playoffs they've been good, but like that pass rush hasn't even had their best game yet in the playoffs. So I'm interested, you know, to see how they do against the Patriots O line.
Yeah, I think that that pass rush has gotten like a lot better. It was like one of the best it was like one of the best units in the NFL. I think they were second to Denver
Yeah,
in sacks. So I think that's gonna be a huge part of the Seattle's team or defense. I think this is probably that's probably where they're gonna win the game. It's probably like their D line because you got you got Leonard Williams, and then you got the resurging DeMarcus Lawrence.
yes.
But you got those two guys playing really good, and you know I think that's kind of like where I would say that's where they're gonna win the game. I know I gave my prediction a little early, but
It's all good. It's all good. And I agree with you. And I think some really cool like matchups to look like specifically where you're saying, right? And that defensive line against the O line. Like freaking New England is pretty cool. On the left side, they have Will Campbell, right? Early 20s. On the right side, they have Morgan Moses in his late 30s. I think that's freaking amazing. Like, that's like one of those things that might be random to some people. But I'm like, where else can you find that? Like in any type of work or any type, you know, I think that's a unique thing about sports right there. And yeah, shout out to, I mean, Morgan Moses, the fact that he's still playing at an elite level at this age, it's like this guy. I don't think he's gotten enough credit in his career overall. Because from the beginning, he's been an absolute like all pro, you know, tackle, and he's still doing it to this day. Like He reminds me like of Trent Williams in San Francisco. They both look like they've been playing for like 30 years, and somehow they're still playing at an elite level. But yeah, bro, I can't wait for that matchup though. And I think we're gonna see a lot of like 6 personnel. I could see that from New England, because at the end of the day, Seattle's, like you said, literally, I'm with you. Like it's gonna come down to that battle right there. So I wouldn't be shocked. We see a lot of 6 personnel type of formations for New England, and also if they're able to get the running game going, that could really be what could disrupt the pass rush of Seattle. Because then you're able to open up the field and get some good like play action passes. So that it's an interesting thing, yeah. Because I still don't think Seattle, like I said, has had their best game pass rushing in the playoffs yet. But also New England, they haven't really been able to run the ball as good as they were running towards the end of the regular season. So I'm really intrigued, man. I can't wait for that matchup. And then it's crazy because then on the other side of it, it's like fun too, because Seattle's O-line, like I said, is so good, but they're kind of like unproven in a way. They have a couple young guys, a couple random veterans, but then New England's D-line, like we talked about Chaisson already, but like New England also has like these underrated defensive linemen too. So I just feel like, man, in the trenches, it's going to be a fun game. And I think it's going to be my style of game. But yeah, I'm really intrigued, man, by all these battles. But yeah, man, so obviously, like you already said, you're going with Seattle. I'm going with New England. Like I said on the podcast last week, I know, like, trust me, I understand why they're the favorite. But my number one thing, like, I'm such a big coaching guy. I can't go against Vrabel. I hardly go against Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay. It's like, literally, I had the Rams winning the Super Bowl. So there's certain, when I fall in love with a coach, like, I can't go against him. But I totally understand why you would pick Seattle. So yeah, man, any other, like, thoughts you want to point out there about you picking Seattle?
Yeah, I feel like Seattle's defense is one of since they're one of the elite defenses, I feel like that is gonna be like the big factor. Well, I said their D line was gonna win the was gonna win them the game, but I feel like that defense against the New England offense, which has made a lot of improvements, but I feel like they're still they're still a little unproven, and I still think in these last couple of playoff games they did struggle a lot. So I do think that is gonna play a factor. But we have to see how well guys like Ramondre Stevenson, Stephon Diggs, and Drake Maye specifically can play like in these high pressure moments. I know Diggs can play, or he has been in these kind of moments before with Buffalo, but I don't think Drake Maye has been in this kind of a situation before, not even in college when he was with North Carolina. So we got to see. I do think he has made a lot of improvements, but I still feel like there is still like he's still missing that little bit just to like be a Super Bowl winning quarterback. But I have to give New England a lot of their credit. But it did kind of hurt me to kind of finally give them their credit, because like I wasn't like too high on them during this playoff run, but they have been pretty good this playoffs, or this postseason, I should say. And Drake May has been okay, but I feel like he just needs that little bit more just to be that Super Bowl winning type of quarterback. And I think Sam Darnold is that kind of quarterback on Seattle's side. And I do think they have both the offense and the defense. It's not just, the quarterbacks, but you got the lines, you got your receiver, you got really good receivers. Jackson Smith and Jigba had I think he had an all pro season, if I'm
Yeah,
not
he,
mistaken.
like, statistically, or even just like watching, I would say he had the best season overall of any receiver. And like you could say Puka maybe was right behind him, but the like we saw it in the NFC Championship, like, bro, Smith and Jigba is literally, he's a definition of a difference maker. I talked about it last week. We have so many damn receivers every year that get these big contracts, and they're all whining, asking for more money. This guy's still on his rookie deal, but he's like the rare receiver. Him and Puka, I would say, I would actually pay, because the majority of these receivers, they never live up to the hype. But I'm sorry, I had to talk about him there because, man, he is so damn good.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is he's not even like that big. I saw
No,
him next to like one of the reporters the other day. He was like almost the same height, and maybe even shorter.
yeah, I think he's under 6 feet. I think
I think so too. I think he's maybe like 5'10", 5'11". Yeah.
the difference he makes is freaking crazy.
Yeah, it is.
But one guy I want to okay, so Drake May, I agree, bro. Like the New England offense, honestly, they they haven't like they haven't wowed anyone. Like they haven't been like impressive in the playoffs. I just feel the defense is just like the defense will make stop after stop after stop, like it's freaking crazy. But I feel like the big key for me in this matchup for like New England to finally, unlock their offense or, like look better, it's literally the running game. I just don't think they've been able to establish the run game at all. And it's crazy because they finished the season like really establishing the run game, like Travion Henderson. He had been doing amazing. Stevenson, he's had some nice moments here and there. But then really quickly, I want to talk about Seattle, man. I think one of the key reasons why they're here right now, they're able to unlock that running game towards the end of the season, but they've actually been able to keep it going in the playoffs. And Kenneth Walker, man, I'm so happy for him. I feel he's always been underrated since he came into the league because honestly, Seattle hadn't really won with him. But now that he's actually there and Seattle's in the Super Bowl, he's finally getting like his moment. People are giving him his respect. But look what happens when you give a elite running back an elite O-line. And then what does that translate to? Open passes in the play action for Sam Darnold, for Jackson Smith and Jigba. And then one more guy. I don't think he plays enough, but I think he's had some big moments so far in Seattle. Is Rashid Shaheed. They traded for him from New Orleans, a receiver. Whenever that guy plays or whenever he touches the ball, usually makes a huge difference. He's an elite returner, and I think that's another key matchup we got to see in this Super Bowl. Because I don't think New England should be kicking the Shaheed that much, because I'm telling you, this guy's literally a difference maker. He's had like multiple kickoff returns for touchdowns this year. Even on offense, when the rare time they put him out there, they're more than likely gonna give him the ball. So Shaheed, and then even like Zach Charbonnet, he didn't even play in the NFC Championship, and somehow Seattle was still able to run the ball the whole game against the Rams. But yeah, man, those are a couple of things that I wanted to highlight. Like Seattle, that running game is super impressive.
Yeah, I completely forgot to mention the running game.
They're just
But
so
yeah,
damn good.
I just think overall that that Seattle on both sides of the floor, on all three phases of the ball, are just really good. I think they're not just really good, but elite on all three phases of the game. Offense, defense, special teams. I find it kind of hard to bet against them. From the beginning, like of the playoffs, I actually had Denver and Seattle
Oh, okay.
coming to the Super Bowl. So I mean, I didn't know who to pick between the two, but I found it really hard to like bet against Seattle.
It's cool. So, like both of us, we each got one team right. Like I had New England in it, and you had Seattle in it. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, nah, but yeah, just overall, I feel I could talk about both of these teams for so long because they're like super likable too. I feel like both of them, like I think they're both easy to root for because they're literally full of guys that are like underrated. They just have like so many great stories. Even like look, Stephon Diggs. I've talked about him the last couple of weeks. Like I've never been a fan of this guy ever in his whole career. I've never liked his attitude ever. This is the first year that I've actually loved Diggs because this is the first time I've seen him be like a team player. And I think it all starts with Mike Vrabel because Mike Vrabel is not gonna take any BS. Like he doesn't care who you are, how many Pro Bowls you've made, how much money you're making. He doesn't care. He just wants to win. And yeah, this is the first time I've ever really seen Diggs like be about the team. And honestly, I'm like really happy for him. 'Cause at the end of the day, the guy is like so damn talented. Like he's really one of the most talented receivers I've ever seen in my lifetime. So the fact that he's finally buying in and believing in a team, it's just like super special. And I'm glad it's actually happening. I feel like a lot of times, like we see examples of these type of guys in sports, and like they end up not winning championships because they never fully buy into a team. They just always make it about themselves. Like, I could think of like James Harden's a guy that comes out in the NBA. It's like sad. He's such a talented guy, one of the greatest scorers to ever do it, but he's never been about the team. That's just an example I thought of. So yeah, overall, I just think the Diggs story is actually like so cool.
Yeah, I agree, bro. And he's gonna be a dad soon, so
Yeah, man. Cardi. Let's go. How funny is that too, man? That's freaking. You see her like celebrating like with Robert Kraft and like sitting with him. It's freaking awesome. I actually like love it. I think it's hilarious to see like because they're both like freaking wild personalities, Cardi B and Stephon Diggs. It like makes sense, right?
it does. It does.
But yeah, I love the Diggs story and yeah, man. No, Sam Darnold. I want to give some words on him. I've been a fan of him since the beginning. And man, I'm so happy for him. Man, it's just so damn cool to see a guy like never give up on his dream, like continue working hard, and to see him have his moment now. It's just like, brother, like these are the real I feel like role models that people should look up to or kids should look up to in sports and stuff, you know? It's these type of stories, you know, the guys that just like keep going, keep pushing and never give up. And, you know, over the years, we never saw this guy with like a bad attitude, never saw him mad at anyone, never saw him blaming people. He just kept on going. And man, it's so cool to see him have this moment. And man, he's, by the way, the first quarterback in NFL history, I think, to lead a team, two different teams to the number one seed and back-to-back seasons. I think that is how freaking cool is that. But yeah, I love the Sam Darnold story overall. You feel me?
Yeah, same. I was also really high on Sam Darnold, like during like the whole draft. But then, like naturally, like once he kind of like he had a couple of bad seasons with the Jets, he kind of bounced around from a couple of teams. Yeah, we didn't really hear much from him. And it's great. And it's great to see that like he was able to resurrect his career in Minnesota and then like get a chance to lead a team like Seattle to the Super Bowl. And
Yeah,
it's
bro.
crazy because like Justin Jefferson was having mentioned it yesterday how like they probably would have been a Super Bowl contender had he been there.
Is that crazy too? Like they literally went from being the number one seed to having 4 wins the next season. And now he's in a new team leading them to the number one seed and into the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
it's crazy how much of a difference this makes. And
bro,
it's great cuz like he never cuz it took him like a while to like kind of like be that kind of quarterback and he's
yeah,
still kind of like a bit of a throwback, not too much of a throwback. Like you'd still see him run a little bit, but he is mostly a pocket passer.
and I freaking love that.
And hey, I guess it really hasn't died off yet. Like the true pocket passers haven't
Yeah,
really died yet. Actually, I
bro,
don't think they will die because like I feel like if
I,
you have the correct offense for the correct quarterback, I think you can win. And the quarterback is good enough physically and mentally to get it done. I think you can win with pretty much well, not any quarterback, but you can win with a lot of good quarterbacks.
amen, man. Like I
Yeah.
feel last year was just like a rarity. You know, like Hurts does. He does some pocket, you know, like pass from the pocket. But obviously, it was more of like a running offense. So I just feel that was like just like perfectly built and executed, and everything was just perfectly aligned for Philly. But at the end of the day, like you could call me old school, but I always prefer a old school pocket passer. Always like I'll never believe in the running game and a running quarterback to win a Super Bowl. Like that's the thing. Like Hurts like runs a little bit, but it's really Saquon that was running last year, you know. And like Hurts will do like play action passes here and there, you know, little dump offs here and there. But like, man, I love that you said that about Darnold, man. That he's kind of like a throwback quarterback in a way.
Yeah, bro. I mean, I don't know. I feel like if you can design the offense around the quarterback, no matter what his skills are, if the quarterback is physically and mentally able to get it done, I think you can win with a lot with any style. I don't know. I know you're not like a big fan of like the running style quarterback, but I feel like if you can get the right running style quarterback, he still has to be a really good passer. He can't be
Nah,
like he can be a Robert Griffin the third kind of quarterback where
yeah,
he's mostly just running the ball. It's a lot of like fake handoffs and then you just run. Yeah, you would have to have like you'd have to have him be able to throw the ball. And this is where like a quarterback like maybe like a Josh Allen or a Lamar Jackson kind of comes in where you have a guy who can do both. So, I feel like you can still win with those, but I don't think pocket passers are exactly dead either. Because I mean, we're seeing it right now. We're seeing how Sam Darnold has, I don't think he's like a statue. Like he can still run a little bit. He can still make plays outside the pocket, but he is basically a pocket passer.
yeah.
And it still works to this day.
Not for sure. But yeah, that's like a cool quarterback topic. Like two guys I thought of immediately are actually so Jaden Daniels and then Lamar Jackson, right? Like Jaden Daniels to me is like I would prefer for them to like not have him run as much. And I think we saw it this season, obviously, with the multiple injuries he got, and he's so freaking skinny. I actually think Jaden Daniels, he's like good enough to be a regular quarterback. Like obviously he has a lot of speed and athleticism, I feel that they should try to save that in terms of Washington. Like they should save that for whenever, okay, he has to pick up a first down and nobody's open. But then
Right.
like Lamar, I feel like Baltimore, the way they've run their offense is like so run heavy for the quarterback. And it's like, that's really what you're saying, man. Like it has to be the perfect system, like literally the perfect coaches in place. Like you said, the quarterback too, like something that you emphasize, and I agree. it's not just about like physicality. The most important side is the mental side. So yeah, bro, it's one of those topics that I feel we could talk about for hours. But yeah, man, it's but yeah, you have any other thoughts, man? You want to give on the Super Bowl or even the quarterback conversation, whatever. Cool.
No, but other than that, I think these two teams are gonna is gonna be a really defensive battle. I do think Seattle's gonna win this by maybe like a touchdown or two. I do think at the end of it all, I think I do have Sam Darnold being the Super Bowl MVP and kind of completing his resurrection, having his Drew Brees moment, if we should say.
That'll be so cool. Like I'm picking New England, but obviously if they win and you see Sam Darnold winning, I'll be super happy for him.
Yeah, bro.
But yeah, man, I'm super excited, for this matchup. So yeah, Jerry's, going with Seattle. I'm going with New England. If you guys want to give us your predictions or, any thoughts you have on this upcoming Super Bowl and you're watching it here on YouTube, make sure to drop your comments down here below. You could also reach out to us on Instagram and TikTok at the flame_ES if you want to share any thoughts you have on this, upcoming Super Bowl matchup. Again, it's going to be Sunday night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, live from Levi Stadium in Santa Clara. Two amazing underdog stories in a way, the Patriots against the Seahawks. And I just think it's a battle that pure football fans are just going to absolutely love because it's two teams that you can really appreciate. And, I hope you guys enjoyed hearing our thoughts on this Super Bowl preview episode here on the Flame Entertainment and Sports. But yeah, Jerry, man, thanks again for joining us today and giving us your thoughts on the game, man.
Nah, for sure, bro. Thanks for having me on, bro.
Nah, of course. But yeah, guys, once again, thank you for tuning in to the Super Bowl preview. Once again, this is the Patriots and the Seahawks. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at the flame_ES. Subscribe on YouTube, Apple, or Spotify. Until next time, everyone, fins up and take care.